$5,000. Cash payment to anyone who can prove that what lying son of a devil Farrakhan is preaching is consistent with the lessons, supreme wisdom, of Master Fard Muhammad Elijah Muhammad's representation of his teacher Master Fard's teachings.
Assalamu alaikum, sisters and brothers. Ummah Rahim here, Master of the Covenant. Break us 7 seals. Break us 7 seals. Brothers and sisters, I had a special prepared, and I'm going to have to do in these 2 days. Issues today, so I'm going to give you a short version. Hopefully I can elaborate tomorrow. Because right now, the message is urgent. Urgent. Urgent, I mean it. No one out there is warning you about what's about to happen. Then they tell you what, they never explain what is happening. Because right, what's happening before your eyes is the abomination desolation. That's just what we're looking out for. But most of you don't even know what the abomination desolation is. Most of you don't have no idea what that is, never heard of it. It tells you when you see abomination of desolation, that's when all hell's going to break loose. And it's going on right now. So first of all, you don't even know what it is, never heard of it, and no one's talking about it. No one. Except me, and I explained it. And when you go and look into it, you see exactly that's what it says. It says the definition of abomination. Right? It says the uprising was put down with great cruelty. That's exactly, the whole world is witnessing it. Open genocide. It said where it take place. It take place over there in the Middle East, in Jerusalem. What it says. But why is no one telling you that? It says when you see it happen, it's about to break loose. And you're going to be in danger because it tells you why you have to flee. You wouldn't have to flee like that if you weren't in danger. You're in serious danger because it says flee. You can't go in the house get your baby. You can't go and make text anything. You have to run immediately. Immediately. It means you're in great danger. Your life isn't. But why is no one telling you that? It was explained to you. You won't find a message of black man. I'm not putting down Elijah Muhammad. He's supposed to prepare the way for the message of the covenant. So if he's preparing the way for someone else, that means he didn't tell you everything, did he? Otherwise, then it would be no need for the message of the covenant to show up. But they don't even talk about the message of the covenant, do they? There's a reason why they're not telling you. First of all, most of them don't know, and the ones that do know, they're working for the devil, but don't want you to know the trap that they set for you. They said they would set a trap for you. They would come to you as a snare. That they would do truly, and you wouldn't see it, and you don't see it. If I wasn't telling you now, you would have no idea any of this. And whether you accept it or not, it's up to you. I'm not here to convince you. I'm not really here to even save you. Right? I'm here to show you how to save yourself. Move on, brothers and sisters. So things like I said, I'm going to do this quickly. And hopefully I can get an overview. Hopefully I can go into more detail tomorrow. But you, brothers and sisters, you have no idea. Choose that presented with every day. Now, this is a recent photo here. It's taken a while back, but it's more recent than so-called last Savior Day. Look at him. Look at he looks like he's doped up. What's he got the bib on for? He's got look at the jacket's gone. It's oversized. Look, he got a dress on down here or something. It was oversized. It means they had to help put it on. Right? So they had to have something larger. In a minute. This definitely that's he's about 300 pounds now. How that? They got a nurse sitting by and everybody. But see, I said show a picture. So they dug up one. They bit off. They didn't show the picture because he said, "Prove what I'm saying." Look at him. He probably just wiped his mouth. He's probably drooling. They keep telling you he's the Messiah. Well, he can't wipe his own ass. He's pissing shit in the bag. They still tell. That shows you right now. That tells you if you listening, they've been lying to you all the time. Because in that condition right now, and they still, he's the Messiah. When you gonna give that up? They put him in when they put him in a casket or cremate him. Or what? Now he's a ghost. When is he gonna give that up? They haven't given up by now. He's been in a wheelchair for what? Several years. When they gonna give that up? He's the Messiah. When they gonna get that one up? He ain't leading anybody anywhere. They had to cut up the wheelchair, isn't it? But no, I don't know if he's in a wheelchair. But see, they're standby right there. That's his nurse. That's his doctor. I can't say for sure, but that's his doctor in the background there. They got to be close to him. They can't set him by himself because he might fall over. Or they couldn't take a picture of him by himself unless they tie him down. What's that bib around his neck for? Anyway, let's move on, brothers. He's the Messiah. He's the warlord. Mm-mm.
Do you then believe in a part of the book and disbelieve in the other? What then is the reward of such among you as do this but disgrace in the life of this world, and on the day of resurrection they shall be sent back to the most grievous chastisement? And Allah is not heedless of what you do. 86 These are they who buy the life of this world for the hereafter, so their chastisement shall not be lightened, nor shall they be helped.
Hey, brothers and sisters, this message is being blocked. Now people desperate to get their mind back. My nature is rebelling against this. They don't know why, because they was beating themselves. People are beating themselves because they got a mind the enemy. You got the mind of the enemy, you're going to hate yourself. That's what he's telling you. You got the mind of the enemy. These clowns here, they're not helping that situation. In fact, they wrapping the mind even tighter. That was mind even tighter. Because all this confusion and shit that they put, all this confusion and, give me another mic. I don't like the way it's situated because anyway, something about that. A new microphone because the other ones wasn't. I think YouTube is also distorting. Let me check, see if there's something. You gotta get close to them. All this confusion out there, that's in the master, that's in the devil's favor. But they're not giving you any light. They have no idea what's going on, first of all. They're saying Farrakhan's Messiah, which is a lie. They can't step up and get that $5,000 challenge. And now people in danger, because it tells you right, you're in danger, but they have no solution. They don't even tell you you're in danger. Plus, they're adding the confusion, because the confusion. If they're not giving you the right mind, they're adding confusion, which means they're fueling the devil's mind. But that's all about confusion. They keep you confused. They assist in that. That's why we get the most grievous chastisement. They're assisting right, your destruction, because your destruction comes from lack of knowledge. People are lost from lack of knowledge. Why? Because you're confused. Because you have the devil's mind, and they're They're cultivating that. They're fuel to all this confusion. Oh, I'm the son of man. I'm the Melchizedek. You ain't goddamn. You ain't shit. I'm I'm Ben X and I'm Melchizedek and Silas. He's the son of man too, right? You know what they're talking about. Wesley. That boy is totally confused. He got a doctorate. What? All of them are confused over there. They add to. They do this. They do this all the time. I can prove it to you. I can show you easy examples. They don't mention. They don't mention the message of the covenant, which Elijah talked about. They don't mention the covenant. They don't mention Joshua. Can't say anymore because they say that they're trying to make a lie out of me. The person that introduced Ishmael last, he said, "Oh, Joshua." So I say they don't mention Joshua. They say, "See, he's lying." But they mentioned Joshua one time that I know about. They didn't mention Joshua in the sense who he really is. They say, "Oh, Joshua." My brothers and sisters, a couple more things here. Get to the main point. Makes my day.
I gotta do this. Can you mind? Yes, I'm gonna do something. I don't want to put my brother on the spot. See, this is this. This is something else. Love and faith transcends color. And the reason why we embrace Father Flavor as a brother is because we find him on the battlefield of justice, being a true disciple of Jesus. And the last thing I'll say is you'll never call us racist.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because this day that we honor
Yes, sir.
Master Fard Muhammad, if you see an image of him, put his image up.
Yes, sir.
That's the man whose father was a black man and his mother a Caucasian. And how many of us have a parent that's a Caucasian or grandparent? It's not about color.
Yeah.
It's about our submission to the will of God. And in that we find common ground in unity.
Yes, sir.
So I'm only one shade lighter than you. And Mustafa may be 4 more shades lighter. We are family. Let's stay a family, be a family, and love each other as God would have us to love each other. Love you, Father. Happy Savior's Day. I had to do that. We love you. One more time, brother.
Good crap there, brothers and sisters. That's what we play back to them when it's severe chastisement present. It says severe chastisement. Look to the head, brothers and sisters. Means Allah is going to chastise them. So it's most grievous. You know, hell is a grievous chastisement. It can get worse. Most grievous. So it's all about time, suffering. Quran tells you oppression is greater than slaughter. Better get slaughtered than just be oppressed. So you see they're laughing a few more days. TikTok time is over, bro. We're here now. Everybody's waiting with his needles. Wait this war ignites again. Middle East. Actually just a pause. Any day now, on my brother. Nothing to do with Elijah Muhammad. Show me anything that Elijah Muhammad said, printed, meaned about anything. As far as this, nothing was there. They're deceived by the Benjamins. You understand seasons change. If you one time who's got the most snow, king controls the most hurricanes and tornadoes and hailstorms. Those are your weapons, right? Springtime, well, that's all it goes away. It's worth nothing. It says they would throw their gold and silver into the streets. Have at it. Move on, Brown says. Okay, I think I missed something here. Let me see. Okay, we're going to do it this. I'm going to go to the brief list. Let's look at this. I know probably nobody has paid attention to this. And Jesus answered and spoke to them again. Parables are said. Jesus is the wrong name. I got President to explain that. There's no person called Jesus in the manuscripts. It's not there. That's a made up name they got from the Greeks. No story. Move on. And so, because his name is actually Joshua. If they come wrong, check it. I'll get $1,000 if you can prove me wrong. Joshua. That's why they don't tell you. They did that because they don't want you to focus on Joshua. Because Joshua's a whole different ball game. Whole different ball game when you say Joshua there. That might wake you up a little bit. That name was Joshua, not Jesus. And Jesus. And Joshua answered and said, spoke to them again by parables and said, the kingdom of heaven is like a certain king who arranged a marriage for his son. And when sent out his servants to call those who were invited to the wedding, and they were not willing to come. He's been out there preaching for 30-some years, and they ain't interested. They invited, which is a hard cost, right? If you invited, which is a hard cost, you invited. You don't want to come, right? Then he sent other servants saying, tell those who are invited, see, I prepared my dinner, oxen, and the first one, see, it's 2 times. First time is with Elijah. Okay? Second time is the message of the covenant. Again, he sent other servants saying, tell those who are invited, see, I prepared my dinner, my oxen and my fatted cattle. Already know the dinner's prepared now before he was called, he was invited. They would accept the invitation. This time, it's already the table set and everything. That's the message of the covenant, right? The book has been sealed, the seal's been broken, everything, all laid out. Those who are invited, see, I prepared my dinner, my oxen, my fatted cattle are killed, all things are ready. Come to the wedding. But they made light of it and went their ways. One to his own farm, another to his business. Right? It was just world's life hung with Farrakhan. And the rest seized the servants, treated them spitefully, and killed them. Anyone that was trying to tell them, they attacked them. They don't want to hear this shit. It's going to turn violent. Yeah. But when the king heard about it, he was furious. He sent out his armies, destroyed those murders, and burned up their city. My Farrakhan, not Farrakhan, that's from. Yes. Okay, I'm keeping it short. Then he said to his servant, the wedding is ready, but those who were invited were not worthy. You got the head stuck up Farrakhan's ass. Wedding is ready, but those who were invited were not worthy. Therefore, go into the highways, as many as you find, invite to the wedding. That's the people. So those servants went out in the highways and gathered together all whom they found, both bad and good. And the wedding hall was filled with guests. That means to bring all people in. Right? Bring them all in. No, don't take and accuse them stuff. Bring them in. Farrakhan was cute. He said, "Let me bring them all in." Ooh. And then he said to the servant, the wedding is ready, but then he said to the servant, the wedding is ready, but those who were invited were not worthy. Therefore, go to the highways, and many as you find, invite to the wedding. So those servants went out in the highway and gathered together whom we found a good bed. Okay, I just said that. Right? And the wedding hall was filled with guests. Here comes the punchline. When the king came to see the guests, he saw a man there who did not have on a wedding garment. He said to him, friend, how do you come in here without a wedding garment? He was speechless. Then the king said to the servant, bind him hand and foot, take him away, cast him out of darkness. They're weak and gnashing of teeth. Many should be called, a few chosen. Now, what does that parable mean? He came, but he wasn't dressed. He said, King, how come you, without a wedding garment? When you show up there, cross around your neck, devil on your arm. Talking about you a Democrat, Republican. My name is Jim Wood Miller. That's what he's talking about. Now you know what's going on. Now you're aware. You show, okay, I'm down. Then you show up. You show up like that. And you come to the wedding. You should be dressed for the wedding. The wedding. Time to go home. You get rid of slavery names. What's around your neck. All that bullshit. That's what it's talking about. I'm going to leave it there for now. It tells the whole story. Like I said, all these stories talk about the same thing, but it gives you more and more detail. Talk about those that ain't no big deal. Talk about those grievous chastisement, he part of book, this and the other. Weeping and gnashing of teeth. Cast out of darkness. All right, foot, hand and foot. What they're talking about. Move on. This is another story. This story of Abraham. Abraham sacrificed on Isaac. That was sacrificed because remember that was what he was required to do in so-called Abrahamic covenant. So an angel of the Lord called out to him heavens and said, Abraham, Abraham. He said, here I am. And the Lord said, lay not thy hand upon that. You're supposed to kill him. They went to kill him, and the angel said, oh, hold it, stop it, just before the knife pierces his skin. They do anything, lay not thy hand upon the lad. Well, that's a bad translation. Neither do anything unto him, for now I know thou fearest God, seeing thou hast not withheld thy son, the only son from me. So no, you're going to Holocaust. He tried to remember because he made the promise. He says, you're going to put my vision of harm. He tried to stop it. He said, okay, he submitted. Okay. See, going to Holocaust. Somebody sacrificed. He tried to bend God. Couldn't do that, right? Ishmael didn't have to go through it. His other son, but this one did. Ishmael claimed in the Quran that he was the one sacrificed. That's the misreading of the scripture. He'll tell you clearly it was Isaac that was sacrificed. He went to the Holocaust. But it came near to death. We stopped just for the death blow. And Abraham lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, behind him, the ram caught in the thicket by his horns. Abraham went and took the ram, offered him instead of his son. You see, this is a bad translation. I put in the wrong one. That's my fault. Anyway, either way, because people say, well, why translate you want? Let's say thicket, some say bushes. Bottom line is the bush is probably correct, because you see why. Because talking about the ram. Who is the ram? That's God and Magog. They're caught in the bushes. Where's the bushes? We're talking about Gog and Magog locked down over in the Middle East right now. America and Britain hung up in the Middle East right now. That's what it says. So they caught. They're locked in there. And it's about to go. Right? And so it says, and his horns, behold, went and took the ram and walked him up to the, and killed the ram. We were supposed to die. It was going to kill us. But they got killed instead. That's the story there. Magog, that's about to happen to them. They're being slaughtered, we're being born. It's happening at the same time. Happening right there. We're scared to be slaughtered. They're playing, they end up getting slaughtered themselves. That's the backstory. Read it on your own, at your own leisure. I hate these translations, but we have to accept them. Accept all the scriptures. That's why we had angel key, right? The angel, so you can go in there and see exactly what they're saying. Right up. One says bushes, and the point is bushes is correct because who got them hung up in the Middle East? Papa Bush, baby Bush. Right? They're the ones got them caught up there. They started the war there. Papa Bush and baby Bush. That's how you know it's the right translation. Go on. Here's another one. And see shall be all the nations of the earth be blessed, because thou hast obeyed my voice. Abraham returned to his young son and rose up and went together to Beersheba, and Abraham dwelt at. Anyway, all the nations be blessed. Hold it, wait a minute. I thought all the nations would be destroyed. If they destroy, how can they be blessed? He's going to destroy all the nations. Let's tell me before they destroy it. You have to think these things through. Blessed, all the nations can be, all the nations of the earth be blessed. Because they obeyed my voice. I was voice obeyed. Voice obeyed while we were going to Holocaust. I was okay. So actually, my son did. Actually, that's the voice. He obeyed him. We obeyed. That's about obedience. Submit to Adam. We did. So let me go to the next one and show you. You probably never noticed this. Next one. Maybe I'll come back to that one. Here. Now, Arabs, they're going to give them $1 trillion. That's our money. That's our land. They said they took our land. They blessed all this money and everything. See, that's how the blessing. Because they blessed because they took everything that belongs to us, they have. That's the blessing. They was blessed by taking from us. That's all the nations are blessed. So we got the main ones here, right? All that money, that land belongs, everything belongs to us. We got very rich land. That was given to us. In the river Euphrates and the river Egypt. They was into slavery, they betrayed us, they took our land, so that's how they got rich. Look at false Israel. Prestige. They claim they us. Everybody's who bless Israel, I'll bless, curse Israel. Say we are. So everybody's getting all these, and everybody's helping them and getting all these things, prestige, because they said they Abraham's seed. So they got powerful because not powerful, but they we call it quality power because they got rich off us again. Well, idea. They didn't have an idea, it would be nothing. Everything had land, they would be nothing. Then look at USA, ideas and innovation. More ideas and innovation comes here. As a result of us being here. Then you go into death and hate. It's the same thing. It's a little more complicated because that gets into seasons. I'm not going. I might touch on that. The thing is, that how did they get wealthy? How was China and India getting wealthy? Because the jobs that they took, right, we here, those jobs were available to us, industrial jobs. Remember, Detroit was a black Mecca, and then they shipped all the jobs to China. They were talking about how come China got so rich. And Detroit's the basket case. And same thing with India. All the AI jobs, they brought them over there and give it to him because they didn't want us to have them. I explained all that before in the past. They got rich off us. But we'd have got those, would have rose up economically. See, they didn't want that. Intellectually and economically. All of them are rich off us. That's how India would not be. There's millions over here, and they knew that they didn't want us to have those. I was very successful in that profession. They locked the door, so black folks could not get into it. They knew they was best qualified. Like industrial job. Well, why? People say, why they send the industrial jobs to China? Now, we needed. Well, you didn't want black folks to have them. All these things make sure we don't have anything. Well, there's jobs. That gets to seasons. But something's available. Oh, something might be available for them. Something might fuel them, help them. No, get rid of it. Don't let them have anything. Take their money away. It's got their land. They're all in on it. Ideas, they steal that from us. That's why they got this copyright thing. But no, they ain't. They Israel, not them. Why is America a source of all innovation? Ideas. Why is America? Why not Germany? Why not France? None of that stuff comes out here. They're copying. Where the ideas come from, innovation come here because that's the whole story of Joseph. He couldn't figure out what to do. He had to go to Joseph. He showed him what to do. What's going on, brothers and sisters? I don't want you to know that. These clowns not telling you that. I tell you about the Bami's distillation. I tell you about AI. Go back to that. They ain't talking about capitalism. All you got to do is do a simple check. Capitalism is the economic system of slavery. That's what they called it. They didn't have the name capitalism was not a title or not a name until they enslaved us. Then they had to have a name for what they got. Communism is a name for a system. Socialism is a name for a system. What was a system for enslavement? Capitalism. And that's by definition. Maximum profit, minimum overhead. Means the more you get out of a person without paying them, the more profit you make. You got Negroes come out. Negro, hey, I'm a capitalism is enslavement by definition. It wasn't the communists that enslaved us. It wasn't the socialists enslaved us. It was the capitalists. They keep saying, well, capitalism, that's you and the communist problem. Don't run that crap. I ain't in any of it. I ain't in for any of it. But the point is, I know capitalism is by definition, they can't tell you that now. We're capitalists. But what's the definition of capitalism? Maximum profit, minimum wage. Isn't that slavery by definition? They didn't have a capitalism, didn't start until so-called enslavement. That was the name they called it. And then they, just like plantation, they used to call us, these plants. Why do they call it plantation now? Why do they call it factories now? You used to call it plants. It was too close to plantation. You might figure it out. But you're still enslaved. You're just an industrial slave. Remember, the seasons change. So when the season change, that means, okay, you're still a slave, so you got to adjust to this new season. So if it was winter, and you was out just shoveling snow. But in the springtime, man, you out there picking cotton. Still a slave. But man, picking cotton is better than shoveling snow. Yeah, maybe. Still a slave. You're still working 5.95. You're still doing what they tell you to do. But you don't see it that way. Because they don't want you to see it that way. Because if you did, you put into it. You got a car, 9% of that car is what? Getting back and forth to work, just like a mule. You get there, right? You know, supervisor, you don't vote on anything. He tell you what to do, what not do. You don't do it, get fired. You're still a slave. I'm not telling you that kind of stuff. They're the ones that destroyed what Elijah Muhammad was doing, because Elijah Muhammad was trying to break us out of that. Still a slave. We're still under their control. That's what capitalism is. Now they tell you, oh, but no, that's what the name came up. Go check it out. The name that was named. They came up when they started enslaving people. Then they started. They did not use the word capitalism. There wasn't a word before then. That capitalism is enslavement system. They can't tell you that. They're still doing it. But they still now you. Oh man, now who's enslaved, man? We out there shoving the ice and stuff, man, freezing our ass off, man. Shoving the ice and snow and stuff, freezing our ass off, man. Now, oh man, we out in the sun, we just picking cotton and stuff, man. Boy, we doing better now. Thank you, Master. We doing better now. We out there, we ain't cold no more. We ain't cold no more, man. We got there picking cotton, right? In the plant, not in the plantation. And we're not eating chitlins anymore. We eating chitlins now. We still fall for this shit. Still fall for it. Don't tell me they still sell chitlins. Chitlins, that's what they call it. Anybody that ate that stuff, you don't see white folks eating chitlins. Don't eat it. They know what it is. Because they fed us shit. They try like a pig. They say we so stupid. Right? They can just take the S off. That's what they call it. That's exactly what it is. And put a C there. And all of a sudden, oh, we ain't shitless no more, man. We up like 7-Up now, man. We up like 7-Up. We shitless now. We ain't out there in that cold ice, right? Shoveling snow and freezing our ass off, man. We out there in the sun now. We picking cotton. Thank you, Master. The only solution is to get the hell out of here. Farrakhan, he didn't want to leave. Why? Isn't that the same attitude that the house slaves had? You see Django? I'm going to leave him out. Master good to me. In fact, Master my daddy. I just got black skin because that's my mama, but man, that's my daddy, and I want to stay here with daddy. I want to be a sharecropper. Isn't that the language? Isn't that what Farrakhan said? He don't want to go in the place. He want to stay with Massa. He loved Massa. He's kissing on Massa. And you ain't figured out by yet? He said his father's the devil. God damn, what the hell he got to do to you? Got piss on you? Well, hell, yeah, that wouldn't work. Because you probably say, oh, it's raining, thank you, Lord. Come on, bounce it. Talk about this. They're all rich because of this. They got our land. They got us. They get ideas and innovation. They got an ID. That's making them all rich. That's why I said when we leave here with the gold and silver, that plunders Egypt. They lose out. But you ever ask yourself the question, why is all the ideas still come from here? Not from China, not from India, not from Germany, not from France, all the white folks there. Or Russia should be totally ideas since all white folks there. Not from Norway, not from Spain, from here. Because we're here. We're the source of it. They can't tell you that because then they have to pay you for your ideas, and then it wouldn't be able to work with it. What happened here? Oh, brothers and sisters. I don't know what I did here. Moved too fast. Hold on. Hmm. Yeah. What happened here? Okay. Let me do this. I don't know what happened. Hmm. Okay. Hmm. Okay. The question is, here we go again. Unbound system. Oh. Yeah. Okay. Right again. You see this? What's going on here? Unbound system. Somebody's in my system. Take control of it. Oh boy, this is ridiculous. Again. They keep changing it back. One time. The question is, that's what I'm going to talk about tomorrow when I elaborate. With vision point. Decision. Let me give you basic. Every 50 years, we this is documented. The universe starts contracting, we get an energy burst. It's momentous in heaven and earth. It comes above a sudden. Every 50 years, we get an energy burst. So I'm going to give you the short side of it, right? So we start rising in the 1860s. They didn't free us. We start rising. We start getting energized. We start losing control of us. We start energizing. And so that so-called civil war, so lost control of us to a degree. Right? And that was the blues. We had the blues. So see, the atmosphere, music is like seasoning the atmosphere, like you put sugar in water to make it sweet or whatever. Music makes the atmosphere, beautifies the atmosphere, right? You know, the sound. So, and we the ones that control that because blues, that came from us. It spread all over the planet. And we had the blues. That was the way we was. That's how we felt at the time. We had the blues. That was a disposition. We know what to do. We broke the chains, but what did he do? He had anything. Then probably 50 years later, we had jazz. Now, when we had the blues, right, we had dichotomy, right? We had, it's two, and blacks represents two groups of people. Represent the original people and the black skin people.
We have a lot of that going on, so we're taking care of our farmers. We can't let our farmers not have anybody. These people. You can't replace them very easily. People that live in the inner city are not doing that work. They're just not doing that work, and they've tried. We've tried. Everybody tried. They don't do it. These people do it naturally. I said, what happens if they get it to a farmer the other day? What happens if they get a bad back? He said, they don't get a bad back, sir, because if they get a bad back, they die. I said, that's interesting, isn't it?
Well, you heard that. Donald Trump is a believer in eugenics. He believes that white people are the superior race. And inner city is code for black people. And he believes black people cannot now work on the farms. I guess they're not good enough for that. So Hispanic people can do it because they have the backs for it. This is what this man is saying out loud.
Okay, bones is up. Play some, repeat it, close out. Where's my? Oh, here we go. Okay, but I'm gonna repeat what I said. I was saying. I was speaking to. I was speaking to is the patterns. Right? Pattern is that every 50 years we get energy, as the Quran says, momentous in heaven and earth, but it comes but of a sudden. I know you understand that. They don't understand either. But it's talking about universal contracting, and now we saw energy deprivation because energy was going outward. Now it's coming back. And so it started coming back in 1860. So we got our first energy burst. Start losing control of us because we started being energized. So they didn't free us. We broke. It says right there in Mark that we broke the chains. They didn't break it. We free. No, that's a lie. But I'm not going to dwell into it. Now let's move on. So anyway, but then we had the blues. Blues came on at the same time. Check it out. Blues came because we affect the atmosphere. Music is give flavor to the atmosphere. That's a simple way of saying it. And our music is dominating the world. We had the blues because that was our where you felt. That was our emotions at that time. So we had two. But black, when we talk about black, that's a term they talk about black skin. That's two types of people. That's original people and the people, they're black skinned children, like a rape. They're not us, they're them. They're wolves in sheep clothing. They're skin folk, not kinfolk. So that's the two groups. So what happened was that you had a dichotomy there. Once we energized, there are two dispositions. One says, I want to get away from master. I said, I'm going to stay here. I'm going to be a sharecropper. I want to stay in master's house. Remember, we was in the fields. We had the house niggers. We had field niggers. House niggers. They was master's children. Blackface children. They don't tell you that. They wouldn't let us in. And we might kill them. We had that, right? Two different ideas. And then you go 50 years later. Oh, what happened 50 years later? Jazz. We start feeling jazzy. Right? We weren't niggers no more. We start calling ourselves colored people in ACP. The two dichotomy. The boys, Marcus Garvey, and Muhammad Ali, and my Master Muhammad, which later for into Elijah Muhammad. Right? They said they were Eurocentric, Afrocentric. Eurocentric means be more like white people. You don't act like him. Or the demons, their children, yeah, they born into that because they want to be like Master. They don't like their black skin. They want to be, they want to be like people. They wolves. They want to be like wolves. They might look like lamb, but they want to be with the wolves. What the hell with that, man? We want to start being ourselves, Afrocentric. Right? In opposition to that. And 50 years later, right? Another music. Why every 50 years? 1860s, 1920s, 1960s. Blues, I mean, not blues, disco, well, you could, disco rock, whatever you want to call it, right? Now, we ain't color people no more. We're black. I'm black and I'm proud. We ain't trying to be like, right? And getting rid of that process, start looking, afros and carrying on. We had another group, they said, no, we want to integrate, get more close to the devils. And others say, we want to get separate. You had two main people there. You had Martin Luther King, Elijah Muhammad. It was in two factions. Because the other ones, that's what they want to do. They want to be with Master. That's what they want to be. They want to be with Master. They love being with Master. They want to be in Master's house. They want to stay in Master's house. We want to get the hell out of Master's house. Get away from him, right? We had two So now we're 50 years, we're in the 2020s now. That means something about to happen. New music, and we're in separation. But this time the scripture say we're going to actually leave. There's a message of covenant here, and they're going to stay and fight for this country. Now, who's going to be who could represent this? Elijah Muhammad represented the one separate, Martin Luther King represented to integrate. What's Farrakhan saying? I want to stay here. I love Master. I want to live here. And they ain't devils. Some of them are good. I'm not going to place else. Because he is the other. He's the demon side. I fight for this country. Why do you love America so much? And the minister comes and say, no, we're getting the hell out of here. See? I'm going to leave it there, brothers and sisters. That's what they want you to know. That's why he put it, silenced this. That's why he probably silenced it. I got to that point, and all of a sudden got silent. But they're in my system. They control everything. I'm going to hope it elaborate tomorrow. But you see, this is what Farrakhan's saying. He represent, remember you got that groupie. One say, okay, I want to share crime. I say, here, Master House, right? I want to think like Master. Eurocentric. I want to integrate. I want to live with Master. I want to marry his daughter and everything else, right? I was saying, hell, I want to get away from Master, get in the cities, Canada, anywhere. No, man, hell with that, man. I want to go back to Africa. I want to start thinking like Africans. Man, I want to separate, man. I don't have nothing to do with this shit, man. No, I want to stay. I want to integrate. I want to get closer to man. I want to live in the suburbs. I want to live next to you. You see? You see the pattern? And what's the next step? What's the next step? The next step is actually separate, and one going to care. What's Falcon saying? He's not saying, he's saying the other side. Exactly what the demons would say. I want to stay here. I like it here. I want to go to a place else. Devils ain't devils. Devils ain't devils. You know, as far as the devil, devils ain't devils. The synagogue said some of them are good. You got it, brothers and sisters? I'm going to leave it there. Most they blocked that one. Hopefully I'll elaborate more tomorrow. Alaikum.
We have a lot of that going on, so we're taking care of our farmers. We can't let our farmers not have anybody. These people. You can't replace them very easily. You know, people that live in the inner city are not doing that work. They're just not doing that work, and they've tried. We've tried. Everybody tried. They don't do it. These people do it naturally. I said, what happens if they get it to a farmer the other day? What happens if they get a bad back? He said, they don't get a bad back, sir, because if they get a bad back, they die. I said, that's interesting, isn't it?
Well, you heard that. Donald Trump is a believer in eugenics. He believes that white people are the superior race. And inner city is code for black people. And he believes black people cannot now work on the farms. I guess they're not good enough for that. So Hispanic people can do it because they have the backs for it. This is what this man is saying out loud in interviews. He is a racist. It's been proven time and time again. The man had Mein Kampf on his bedside table that he would read at night. Enough to let you know where he stands on that. Just more outrageous, racist things from Donald Trump. They want to arrest those who can do the farm work well until their backs give out. And then he'll probably ship them to El Salvador or some other country. Just more vile statements from the president and let you know where he stands.
videos when they were arresting people for praying outside of abortion clinics? I mean, I do think the UK, and I say this as, someone who is half English, I think it's like reached, or it is quickly reaching a point where democratic reforms are going to be pretty tough because of the demographic change. And that, of course, the point of importing all these people is to overwhelm the people who live there who disapprove of the program. So you don't have to care what they think because you just bring in new people and their will becomes like all that matters. And so I don't think you're going to fix these things through elections at some point, probably pretty soon. And I just worry a place like the UK, Canada is another, a bunch of different countries in the West are at the point where they're literally revolutionary. They are poised for revolution. And as someone who really doesn't support revolution and hates violence and hates civil war above all, I'm worried about that. I mean, I don't see how this is fixed. Starmer, who's, he's just an instrument of larger forces, but he's a poisonous character, obviously, who's really hurt your country. He's in there for 4 more years. And so you wonder, people are going to start to get really radical in a scary way. I think this is going to happen. And the people in charge don't seem to care.
Well, you're already seeing it. You are seeing the anger beginning to manifest itself. And I completely understand the anger. I don't, like you, I abhor any form of violence. But I do understand the anger when you have, Keir Starmer campaign. I'm going to smash the gangs that allow these little boats to come over the channel, delivering tens of thousands of people illegally into the country. And they then get put into these so-called asylum hotels where they're given a pretty good lifestyle. Certainly a far better lifestyle than many people really struggling at the moment in the UK. And of course, far from smashing the gangs, it turned out yesterday that he's smashing new records for the number of people coming in illegally on the boats. It's out of control. And the British public are reaching a point of saying, we are done with people coming in illegally and being treated better in a more comfortable and more luxurious manner than we treat our own people.
Well, the whole point is to humiliate and degrade the indigenous population of the British Isles, the white population. I mean, that's the whole point. And are they really going to do something about it? What would that be exactly?
Are reaching a point of saying, we are done with people coming in illegally and being treated better in a more comfortable and more luxurious manner than we treat our own people.
Well, the whole point is to humiliate and degrade the indigenous population of the British Isles, the white population. I mean, that's the whole point. And are they really going to do something about it? What would that be exactly? You'd really have to force a lot of people to go back to their countries of origin, millions of people, and you need to do it really soon. And are they actually willing to do that? I don't know, but these are existential questions that we have been browbeat into ignoring for decades. But the question is is Ireland Ireland? If it's majority non-Irish? Oh, shut up, they're Irish. No, they're actually not Irish. Same with the UK, same with England, Scotland, Wales. It's all changing so fast. Nothing like this has ever happened in all of history, except when, say, the Mongols swept across the steppe and raped everybody. That was true demographic change on this scale. But even that wasn't as profound as what we're seeing in every white country around the world. I would say the West, but Australia and New Zealand also. So, what is that? Now, my brain is not big enough to understand what that is. I have a lot of theories about it, but I don't know if they're true. All I know is what the numbers are, and that's real, and no one feels that he can say it. Everyone's like, oh, well, if that were happening in China or India or Malaysia or Senegal, it doesn't matter. You'd be like, what the hell is that? The population's totally different. Look at graduation. Pick, King's College Law School, and look at the graduation picture for the last 30 years. Who's in it? Just let your eyes tell you the truth for once. This is a total change in population. Is it better? Is it worse? Can't have that conversation. Who's pushing this? Does the population want it? The population clearly doesn't want it. There's no polling that's meaningful on the subject. There's no referendum on it. You don't get to decide. You've got no voice in it, other than you get to go to jail if you complain loudly enough about it. What is this? I think it's the biggest and darkest thing that has happened in the last 1,000 years, for sure. And I think it's leading somewhere really, really bad. It's not happening by accident. That's obvious because it's only happening in white countries.
I mean, I think that,
Oh, shut up, white supremacist. In fact, I'm not a white supremacist.
Well, I
I'm
think-
just noticing what the hell's going on.
I think most people I've spoken to about this in the UK, most people have always viewed the UK to be a very tolerant, multicultural, cosmopolitan place to live. That's why so many people want to come here. And people have no problem with that. And it's been very successful for a long period of time.
It's multicultural? What does that mean?
We have a lot of different people from different countries, different cultures, and it's always worked historically.
So is Sharia law in a multicultural country? Is Sharia law? What does that mean?
We have a lot of different people from different countries, different cultures, and it's always worked historically.
So is Sharia law in a multicultural country? Is Sharia law every bit as valid as English common?
No, people don't want Sharia law here. No.
A lot of people do. Wait, hold on. I don't know what you mean. Multiculturalism itself is the lie designed to subvert a society. No, a society has a culture. You can argue about what it is or ought to be. It's not necessarily the same as race. It's connected to race, but it's not the same. People from different races can buy into your culture. That was kind of the beauty of the West. But a multicultural society is not sustainable. There's never been
your
such a
society
thing.
is
One
about
culture will dominate.
Hang on, surely the United States of America, given the very way it was created, is the epitome of a multicultural society. And my point I was going to make to you was,
It's absolutely not. No. It's a multiracial society.
Yeah.
Though it was not actually a multiracial society up until pretty recent. It's just like 90% white for most of its existence, but whatever. But you did have different peoples, you had different religions. That was all totally fine, but there was one culture, it's American culture. There's no such thing as a multicultural society. It's not sustainable. One culture will overwhelm the other. Again, it's not the same as race. It's not identical to race. It's connected, but it's not the same. But multiculturalism is by definition insane. No, it's never happened. It never will happen. One culture will predominate. It will impose its values on everybody else. I mean, the gay thing, which was not a thing 40 years ago, gay was a slur, all of a sudden becomes multicultural there. There's one culture, and it's required. And that's true in every society because a culture is a commonly agreed upon set of values, which in their firmest form are called laws.
but those values can evolve.
It's true everywhere.
But those values can evolve.
Of course they evolve, but there's only one set of them. It's not multicultural. There's one set. You don't have one God in every society. Sorry.
But your country's values were established by the United States Constitution, and that's had, 26, 27 amendments? Right, so your own values, as determined by the Founding Fathers, they have evolved and been changed to accommodate changing time.
There's no doubt. Look, I'm not even arguing against change. That's natural. It's natural that people's views evolve.
So the culture changes.
If you're rejecting the laws of nature, then you're doomed. But let me just say, no, of course, societies change. I get it. All I'm saying, I'm making a very discrete, specific point, which is multiculturalism as an idea is laughably stupid. It has never worked. We never had it anywhere, and it never will exist because it's contrary to human nature. One culture, one way of looking at things, one worldview will predominate, and it will punish all who deviate from it. That is the nature of societies. So if you're telling me it's
determined by the Founding Fathers, they have evolved and been changed to accommodate changing time.
There's no doubt. Look, I'm not even arguing against change. That's natural. It's natural that people's views evolve.
So those values can evolve.
There's one culture, and it's required. And that's true in every society because a culture is a commonly agreed upon set of values, which in their firmest form are called laws.
But those values can evolve.
This is true everywhere.
But those values can evolve.
Of course they evolve, but there's only one set of them. It's not multicultural. There's one set. You don't have one God in every society. Sorry.
But your country's values were established by the United States Constitution, and that's had, 26, 27 amendments? Right, so your own values, as determined by the Founding Fathers, they have evolved and been changed to accommodate changing time.
There's no doubt. Look, I'm not even arguing against change. natural that people's views evolve.
So the culture changes.
When you're rejecting the laws of nature, then you're doomed. But let me just say, no, of course, societies change. I get it. All I'm saying, I'm making a very discrete, specific point, which is multiculturalism as an idea is laughably stupid. It has never worked. We never had it anywhere, and it never will exist because it's contrary to human nature. One culture, one way of looking at things, one worldview will predominate, and it will punish all who deviate from it. That is the nature of societies. So if you're telling me it's multicultural, we can all live and have radically different values, that's just not true. It's never been true. It never will be true. So you're having one worldview predominate over another and dominate and suppress all dissent. That's just what it is.
I would point to the United States of America and the United Kingdom as two shining examples, albeit not completely without their flaws, the shining examples of places that are deemed by the rest of certainly feel that about my country.
Well, I certainly think that inherent in Christianity is the notion of tolerance, and that draws from a core Christian concept, which is free will. You cannot force someone to convert. There's never been conversion by the sword in Christianity. People decide to believe in it. And so that is central to the religion, therefore it's been central to the society. Western civilization is Christian civilization, and so we call that tolerance. It's a respect for your inherent God-given right to make a choice about what you believe. Okay, so of course, that's always been a feature. My only point is, a society has a commonly agreed upon set of beliefs, rules, and laws that are the definition of the society itself. That's what society is. So you can't have competing. You can't have, gay world and Sharia world living co-equally in a society. That does not happen. It will never happen. You have to pick one. Are we the Sharia society? Are we the party time gay rights society? Which one? And you can't face that reality, so you're just sort of snoozing along until the inevitable point where you can wake up and be like, my values have no bearing on what our society is anymore, because we've been invaded by other people with a totally different worldview, and they're now in charge. And that day is coming very soon for your country, and maybe it'll improve it. I don't think the UK could be a lot worse than it already is. It's this kind of disgusting, sad, self-hating, suicidal island that was once great. It kills me to see it as a half English person, but that day is coming. It will change. You will either decide to be Western or Eastern. That's a choice that we're all going to face. I don't want to face that choice, but it's being foisted upon us by the architect. That's a choice that we're all going to face. Suicidal island that was once great. It kills me to see it as a half English. That day is coming. It will change. You will either decide to be Western or Eastern. That's a choice that we're all going to face. I don't want to face that choice, but it's being foisted upon us by the architects of mass migration. Sorry.
I would question your characterization of my country as a sad, disgusting, suicidal nation. I feel none of those things. I feel very happy to be in the United Kingdom, and I feel that there are lots of very happy.
Our system, the Western system, which is very distinct from the Eastern system, very distinct, and it's distinct on this one precise point, we believe, and have always believed since this country was founded, since your country became, not a pure monarchy, but even when it was a pure monarchy, the belief in the West, because of Christianity, was the worst thing you can do is punish the innocent. That's the worst thing you can do. That's worse than not punishing the guilty. And we often said that to each other. We no longer say that because there is a pretty concerted effort to blur the meaning of these terms. But I'm not going to be deterred from defining words precisely. Terror is murdering people, killing people, punishing people who committed no crime. Period.
So when the Israeli government says it has repeatedly that even though over 20,000 completely innocent children are believed to have died in their response to what Hamas did on October the 7th at the hands of the IDF, there are many on the pro-Palestinian side who say that Israel is behaving like terrorists too in the way that they have gone about conducting this war. Would you go as far as to say that?
One of the things that I really object to now is this relentless focus on Israel, which, by the way, is a foreign country that I have nothing to do with.
We've done this before. Now, maybe today things are different, and we will end up living in a nation that is sharply divided and may ultimately produce something else. But I'm an American. I love my country. I want to see it stay together. I'm interested in social cohesion, which means that I think our laws, customs, and culture have to be dominant. We can accept some diversity on the edges, but not fundamental division. I think we're in a state of fundamental division. So when I bring up Sharia law, I've sat in many discussions with many people that said, well, I don't care what people look like, but I do care about Sharia law, and I don't want that practiced anywhere near my family or in my country. And that's something you should be aware of. So the notion that someone can come here and say, well, that's part of my religion and we're going to abide by Sharia law, they're going to find serious resistance and opposition in the country. That's It's because it matters. It's this thing we call societal cohesion. Nations do not exist on their own. They have a core population. Our core population from the very beginning was always at least 80% European and Christian and about 15 to 20% African. But when you start bringing in huge numbers, millions, who are fundamentally different from the core population, you are going to get violence, anger, and conflict. How many times have you heard people say, if you bring people in from the developing world, what do you get? The developing world. And now we've got that. You can't bring in hundreds of thousands of people from Somalia, plant them, of all places, in Minnesota, and then be shocked that, no, they're not Americans. They're not really interested in being Americans. They're foreigners living on American soil. Nobody wants to say that publicly. If you do, oh, well, you're a racist. Well, you know, the world is full of racists. The real war that's going to decide our fate is not going to be fought anywhere overseas. It's going to be fought right here inside the United States. Are we going to survive as a republic, as an English-speaking republic that rests on the foundations of Western civilization? Or are we going to become something else?
One point that is
The Constitution was completed in 1789. I think we had 5 million people living in the 13 British colonies. We were 90% white, that is excluding the Africans who were in the country who had been brought here as slaves. But we were 90% white, we were 90% Protestant. And this may be hard for you to believe, but the people that wrote that were trying to protect all of the Protestant sects from a state church on the model of the Church of England and the Roman Catholic Church. That's one of the reasons it was almost 100 years or more after that before people began to finally accept Catholicism as a religion, because it was viewed as political power. My point to you is the Constitution is outdated. The way we are governed is outdated. It has to be re-examined. Nobody in 1789 imagined that anybody would come to the United States except another lunatic, religious fanatical Protestant who hated the Church of England. That's what people feared. That's what they thought of. The Constitution that we have does many good things, but I would argue that the Bill of Rights is ultimately more important. The Bill of Rights is vital and essential, and that needs to be defended. But the Constitution and the way we govern and the things that we're doing, it's out of date. It doesn't fit our needs. And that's back to my comment on something given has no value. You have to earn it. And we haven't made anybody earn their place in this country. I'm talking about people like me that have been here forever. My first ancestor stepped off the boat in 1681. So we've got to get back to some notion of national service, because national service promotes national integration. It addresses some of these problems that you're discussing. Now, I know that you may not want to conform and may not want to be as I am, but I'm an American and nobody questions that. Nobody ever will. If you don't want to stand out and be questioned, then I suggest that you change your appearance, because I don't think it's life or death for you to wear what you wear.
I think this conversation
It's not fun, because it's leading to violence. that could have otherwise been avoided. You see, every great nation, every large nation can always accept some number of people into its ranks that are different from them. It's always been the case. But if you suddenly import millions, which is what's happened here and happened in Europe, then you threaten the core gene pool. What I'm trying to tell you is there's a problem. And we can all think that there isn't, and you can insist there isn't, but that's the view. And I think it's incumbent upon all of us to address it truthfully and openly. Stop pretending it's not a problem. It's a problem.
I mean, what's also a problem is white supremacy, and that's
No, because you're saying you're different, you're going to remain different, and you don't think that if that's not compatible with being an American, then the hell with it. That's what you're going to do.
well, then what do you make then of, white American people who convert, let's say, to Islam and choose to cover? Are they not American anymore?
Listen, if they want to do that, that's obviously their business. I don't know how many are out there that do that. I think again, it's ill-advised. I think you have to hold the society together. There has to be an agreement on certain things, customs, culture, way of life. And unfortunately, if you're going to practice rigidly a brand of Islam that demands certain things, and this is why I asked right off the bat, do you support Sharia law?
I'm a Muslim. What being a Muslim means is I follow the guidelines of my religion, which is a peaceful.
Does your religion dictate to you Sharia law?
My religion dictates to me to be a good human being, to be good to my neighbors,
that the most powerful force in today's Republican Party is represented by what Charlie Kirk said. It is this drive to make America a white Christian nation. I got to tell you, this is what they say privately. This is not what they say publicly. This is what Charlie Kirk said publicly.
And Joe, again, one of the reasons I wanted to have you on, because you know these people very, very well. Yeah. You said it yourself. You were one of the strongest voices. You were one of the folks who understood the incendiary language when you were in Congress, when you had your radio show, and how people loved when you did it. And then when you chose to apologize for that and turn away from it, oh my God, they literally have just tried to destroy you because of that.
Yeah, again, you know the deal, Roland, right? I came out publicly against Trump 7 years. For 7 years, I put up with death threats on a regular basis. Nobody is welcome in that party unless you bow down to what this force is, this MAGA force. And again, look, there have been some people on the left who've celebrated Charlie Kirk's murder. Shame on them, be better people, but this is much worse, Roland, what my former friends are doing on the right, because they are turning this into a holy war. When you say we declare war on the left because of what some 22-year-old young guy did in Utah, and then you declare war on the whole left, that's a lot worse than celebrating Charlie Kirk's murder, because that's dishonest, but that's also inciting hate and violence. And Roland, look, Trump's an idiot. So yeah, Trump says the left, the problem in the country is the left. J.D. Vance is not an idiot. What did J.D. Vance say today, right? He was subbing for Charlie Kirk on his radio show, and he spent the entire show going after the left, going after them, they, them. Man, Democrats need to wake up, Roland. This is a really serious deal by my former colleagues. The stuff that I hear privately from them right now, Roland, for the last 5 days, I mean, they want to go to war. This is a holy war.
Oh, it absolutely is. And what really jumps out at me on this very thing here, Joe. And I've been saying this. I played the speech 2 weeks ago that mainstream media just ignored of Missouri Senator Eric Schmidt, who gave a speech at NatCon, Peter Thiel's group, where he literally gave a white nationalist speech, where he said our ancestors fought for this country to be ours and no one else. He was talking about white people. He was basically saying if you are Black, Latino, Asian American, or even Native American, America is not for you. And folks just ignored it. And so people need to understand, again, what they're saying, why they're saying it. And yes, there are many evangelicals, any very conservative white Christians who are pushing this as well. And you nailed it. They want a holy war. They want a race war. They want this to be a white country. It is clear as day.
And Roland, really important point. Charlie Kirk at only 31, the impact he had because he was one of the most successful pushers of this white Christian nationalistic idea. And so I think that's why all of his defenders are out there so strenuously denying he said anything divisive, because they know if you really go through Charlie Kirk's public record, everything he said about people of color and Black women and Muslims and gays and transgenders, if people took the time to go through all of that, and that was put out for average people to see, they'd be blown away by it. That's why his defenders are like supercharged right now. They don't want that record to be seen.
Today, you mentioned, and I mentioned as well, Vice President J.D. Vance sitting to do his show. And listen to this man just blatantly lie, Joe. Play it.
I read a story in The Nation magazine about my dear friend, Charlie Kirk. Now, The Nation isn't a fringe blog. It's a well-funded, well-respected magazine whose publishing history goes back to the American Civil War. George Soros' Open Society Foundation funds this magazine, as does the Ford Foundation and many other wealthy titans of the American progressive movement. The writer accuses Charlie of saying, and I quote, "Black women do not have brain processing power to be taken seriously." But if you go and watch the clip, the very clip she links to, you realize he never said anything like that. He never uttered those words. He made an argument against affirmative action as a policy. He criticized a specific Supreme Court justice as an individual. He never said anything about Black women as a group. He made an argument for judging people of all races and backgrounds by their own individual merits.
Bullshit.
Okay, Joe, this is actually what he said.
No, Roland, that's utter bullshit.
In fact, you know, if we would have said 3 weeks ago, Blake, if we would have said that Joy Reid and Michelle Obama and Sheila Jackson Lee and Ketanji Brown Jackson were affirmative action picks, we would have been called racist. But now they're coming out and they're saying it for us. They're coming out and they're saying, I'm only here because of affirmative action. Yeah, we know. You do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken really seriously. You had to go steal a white person's slot to go be taken somewhat seriously. Play cut 52.
But I rise today as a clear recipient of affirmative action, and particularly in higher education. I may have been admitted on affirmative action, both in terms of being a woman and a woman of color.
All right, Joe, he literally said it. Not only that, Vance lied. Soros does not fund the nation. So he sat there and flat out lied.
And Roland, remind me, what's J.D. Vance's job? He's the vice president, and yet he had time today to do a radio show? for a former right-wing podcaster. I mean, look what they're not even rolling, they're not even subtle about it, what this White House is doing. They believe, man, the path to victory is fear, hate, and division. And that's what they're putting out there. That was Charlie Kirk literally going after 4 accomplished black women by saying they didn't have the brain power to get where they got. This is what he believed. And this is what MAGA believes. And that, again, Roland, broken record, that's why Charlie Kirk was so damn successful. Why he had such a big audience.
Yeah, and not only that, you take Nick Fuentes, who's to the right of Charlie Kirk. The night of or the day after Kirk was shot and killed, Fuentes had 200,000 people watching him live. And so what you have this fervor. And so when I listen to Trump and Vance and all these people talk about, how the left, they're indoctrinating. No, and you know this very well, the indoctrination. We've had people who formerly with Turning Point USA put out videos talking about how it was really this cult-like figure, this messianic figure that they sort of set Kirk up as, and how they want them to follow that. And so that's what's going on here. These people are not trying to have open dialogue. And not only that, Joe, you take Trump, okay? Trump was very clear in saying he was not going to call Governor Tim Walz after those 4 folks were shot in Minnesota. 2 were killed, including former Speaker of the House and her husband. Now today he's saying, he never even heard of Melissa Hortman, and if the governor had asked him, he would have, of course, lowered the flags to have staff. I'm sorry, he's also lying. He knew about her. He knew about the shooting, but he was so arrogant that he said, 2 Democrats, a Democrat Speaker of the House shot and killed. Yeah, I don't care, but lower the flags to have staff with Charlie Kirk. Flies body on Air Force 2. Do a memorial service at the Community Center. Do another one at the Arizona Cardinals Stadium. Give him the Medal of Freedom. And I'm telling you, they're going to give him a state funeral. That's what you're seeing right now. And then you got Peter Hegseth going after members of the military who said anything negative in the aftermath of his death. You've got Kirk supporters creating a database of people of every social media post, and then even Vance saying in the podcast, you call their employer. So the so-called free speech people, all of a sudden are saying, if you say anything negative about Charlie Kirk, after what took place last week, we're going to come after you, come after your job. I thought they hated cancel culture, Joe.
Yeah. Roland, I remember back in my right-wing radio days, I would come on every day, and there was always some story about some leftist group on a college campus that couldn't handle speech that made them uncomfortable
to say.
Roland, this is scary, and you and I are old enough, man, to remember huge figures in American history who were gunned down, struck down, military leaders, civil rights leaders. We are treating this 31-year-old podcaster, MAGA influencer, like he's Jesus Christ. So I come from the right. Why are my old colleagues and friends on the right doing this, Roland? Because the right wants a religious war. Let's just call it. They want a civil war. They want a holy war. That's why they're putting him up to be some Jesus-like martyr.
Absolutely. I mean, Glenn Beck literally came out and said he was a civil rights leader. Oh my God, stop it. Stop it. I've seen people say, I've seen a lot of these videos, I'm leaving my church because my pastor did not mention him. This was a Christian warrior. And let's just be clear. You said it, white Christian nationalists. It's slaveholder religion. We heard a lot of this stuff during slavery, during Jim Crow, things along those lines. And this whole idea about, it was about debate. It was about, exchange of ideas. I mean, come on, let's just stop it. And so we see what's going on here. We see the games that are being played. And then what gets me, Joe, is this whole deal of, oh my God, the left, how they indoctrinated him and the accused killer going to a university. The dude was at a university for one semester, Joe. You're trying to tell me that one semester at a mostly white institution in Mormon, Utah, which is not a liberal bastion, somehow just radicalize him? I mean, it really is showing folks the hand they're trying to play.
Yeah, and I think even on top of that, Roland, I think it was like some technical school. So it wasn't some crazy liberal arts school for a semester. Look, cut through all the BS. The Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, has publicly said that America should be a white Christian country. This is what animates my former party. Roland, you know me, right? Tea Party Hellraiser. I don't come from the left. I left the Republican Party when the Republican Party became MAGA. And my fellow Democrats and folks on the left need to understand, now these people are on the right. Now this is MAGA. MAGA now are the snowflakes. MAGA, Roland, they now need their safe spaces. It's funny, but it's not funny. And you're right about J.D. Vance, man. He just flat out lied. I mean, the last 30-year history of political violence in this country, the vast majority of it is right-wing. It always has been. And they put out this lie that it's only on the left. It's not even, Roland, a both sides problem between the left and the right. There is political violence on the left, but the vast majority is on the right, and they know that, and they're lying because they're trying to inflame their base. And Roland, I hear from their base every day, and let me tell you something, they are inflamed. I mean, they are ready to march and grab their you-know-what. This is a scary time.
It is, and folks need to understand what is certainly at stake. Joe Walsh, I appreciate you joining us on the show.
History of the cross, known by their works. What's the history of the cross? Behind the history of the cross, murder, rape, destruction, deception, enslavement, burning, terrorizing. To maintain a slavery system, you must terrorize the people 24/7. They terrorize people from Africa and America for 400 years. Constant terror, 24/7, rape, murder. In the name of Jesus. This was Christians, not Buddhists, not Hindus. Christians, in the name of Jesus. They said Jesus cursed black people. They call them Ham. Cursed them to be slaves and persecuted forever. In the name of Jesus. Raped our women incessantly pissed in our mouths, made us eat shit, and they took and tried to clean up, I get, well, not clean it up, but make it look more attractive, I guess, by calling it chitlins. It's after slavery, of course, after so-called slavery. Because what they do was not slavery. Look up slavery. Look up slavery. It does include murder, rape, terror. This is a Holocaust. And then now they try to downplay it. Oh, that was 40 years ago. No, it wasn't 40 years ago. I don't think it was a million years ago. It was 20 years ago. It lasted for 400 years. It's enduring today. They took everything away from the slaves. Everything. Their name, their culture, their families, their religion, their minds, everything. Fed their children to alligators as alligator bait. And then they talk about what's going on in Gaza when they did 1,000 times worse. What's going on in Gaza now is simply just a miniature version of what they did. What they did was far worse than what's going on in Gaza. Gaza's bad. It's genocide. What they did was far worse and much longer. That's a legacy of Christianity. Murder, rape, disease. They wiped out the native population. The genocide and disease. Smallpox blankets. Knowing they was full of disease. Herpes, syphilis, gonorrhea from seabird animals. So-called common cold was not common. It didn't exist here on this side of the world until they brought it here. Murder, rape. When it was raping out women, there was a cross hanging from their neck. And again, they taught that there was God's will. God's will. Enslavement of our people. And they continue on even today. That's the legacy of Christianity, the cross. So where's your rap sheet? Every time they arrest our people, your rap sheet. What's your rap sheet? Are you going to judge people for murder when you're guilty of murder beyond imagination for hundreds of years? Hundreds of years. Theft. He stole his land. He murdered his people. And of course, the native people here, when the braves would go out hunting, you would come into the camps like cowards and kill women and snatch the children's brains out on the hooves of your horses. This is the legacy of Christianity. That's the legacy of it. The question is, instead of Columbus coming here, Dracula came here, Beelzebub, Wolfman, Frankenstein, Satan, they all came instead of Columbus. What could they have done that Columbus and those that followed him did? Satan is the God of this world. That's the God they serve. They have known by their works. What are the works of Christianity? What are the works of Christianity? What are the works of Christianity? Evil, deception, mischief, bloodshedding. It goes on today. What's going on in Gaza, just reflection and microcosm of what was done here in America for hundreds of years. Raped our women incessantly. They would even rape while they was out in the fields picking cotton. They would jump off their horse and tell them to bend over and rape them. They told them to keep picking cotton while they was doing it. This kind of stuff they would do. Make one slave defecate and slave and sit and slave up in the mouth of another slave, and then bound it up so they could spit it out for 7 days. That's a legacy of slavery. You did it all in the name of Jesus. There's a legacy of slavery. Legacy of slavery. 40 years plus. Legacy of Christianity. Legacy of the cross. That's the legacy. That's the true legacy. So who's working those? Who are you serving? Who are you serving? Legacy of the cross. What's your rap sheet? America? Gog? What's your rap sheet? Magog? Britain? What's your mention? What's your rap sheet? Antichrist? False Israel? What's your rap sheet? Then they colonized Africa. They steal the ribbon off everyone. It's the legacy of Christianity. It's been ruling for over 500 years. And now, the threat of nuclear war. They finish off everything. That's a legacy of Christianity in the name of your Jesus.
How's we gonna make it? Sure, you ain't talking about us packing our bags and going westward or going out there in the land. Ain't no cities, no towns, no infrastructure out there. Sure, you ain't talking about that, are you? We ain't going back to Africa. No. Your land. Our sweat, our tears, our blood has earned us the right to the land. What God wants you to do is come out of their way. Come out of their pagan holiday. When you should be honoring Jesus, you are bunny rabbits. Inviting your children to pay eggs for some Easter. Come out of her. Get the Santa Claus of your house and a tree that is the way of the pagans. Come out of her. St. Valentine's Day. What is that? Excuse me. Of a name, come out of a religion, come out of a culture, come out of a way of life, come out of an educational system.
People. And they will put up all the shows of North. And they should. Jesus, the homes for our Master. They stood and said, it is a parent. And the old wisdom. Alright. Wanted to return. With their hands stretched out towards that ship, and tied in chains themselves bound together. And when they were put off on this miserable shows, they took them, scattered that ship that brought them to a strange land, and these strange people who could not speak either one's language. Now they have to live in a strange country, strange people who have proven to them every mile from their native land that they love. Going to be the West Indies that they ever lived with, they were going to be the people that were destroyed. They soon discovered that all this ship that they were being brought here. I don't know how we should say anything in the name of Jesus of good for us. When this ship was named Jesus, this is how that we have always been deceived by the witness. Trying to use Jesus, the name Jesus, to our a mental sleep, thinking that we all are leaving. This is church. My brothers, this is very hard for us to people to accept today. Imagine our parents standing in front to return to that native land and people and beauty yesterday. Trying to save the best minutes that brought our fathers in subjection to that will. You and I, turning away from your ordinary land and turning it back towards our prison house and our and who have destroyed us and seeks to destroy us. How do you feel? How do you feel? Not wanting to return to your people. They're trying to make love with the very people that destroyed you and your parents. Do you feel? Actions. And even today, they are beating and shooting you down throughout the country. There is no justice here for you and me. Why did nothing want to be separated and be returned to the Lord? I think that push. They go to your parents on the eastern shore of North America, crying and praying to God. we return to that arm 400 years ago. Are you like to see them rise up in the judgment condemned for being such fools? And now, to live in the land that absolutely enslaved them until they were beaten for 300 long years here. They were condemned as fools. For not wanting to be separated and go to the bottom, to the nation, for his son. The white man said he will remember that.
how's we gonna make it? Sure, you ain't talking about us packing our bags and going westward or going out there in the land. Ain't no cities, no towns, no infrastructure out there. Sure, you ain't talking about. No. We ain't going back to Africa. No. This is your land. Our sweat, our tears, our blood has earned us the right to the land. What God wants you to do is come out of their way. Come out of their pagan holidays where you should be honoring Jesus. You are buying bunny rackets and inviting your children to pay eggs for some Easter. Come out of it. Get the Santa Claus of your house and a tree that is the way of the pagans. Come out of St. Valentine's Day. What is that? Excuse me. Come out of a name. Come out of a religion. Come out of a culture. Come out of the way of life. Come out of the educational system.
People. When they were put on all the shores of North and the ship, Jesus none homes, no their spirit. They stood and said, it is a parent. And the old wisdom. I wanted to return with the hands stretched out towards that ship and tiding chains themselves bound together. And when they were put off on this memorable shows, they stood there staring at that ship that brought them to a strange land and these strange people who could not speak either one's language. Now they have to live in a strange country. Strange people who had proven to them every mile from their native land that they were going to be West Indians that they are living with. They were going to be the people that were destroyed. They soon discovered that all this ship that they were being brought here. I don't know how we should say anything in the name of Jesus of good for us. But this was named Jesus. This is that we have always been deceived by the name Jesus. The name Jesus to our in a mental state, thinking that we all have to leave it. This is curse. My brothers, this is very hard for us to people to sit today. Imagine our parents standing in front to return to that native land and people and you here today. Crying to see the very minute that brought your health. Turn your way from your ordinary life. It back towards harmony, goodness, and harmony. And it who has destroyed us and seeks to destroy us. How do you feel? How do you feel? Not wanting to return to your peace. They're trying to make love with the people. Destroy you in your past. Breathing activity. And even today, there are beating and shooting down throughout the country. There's no justice here for you and me. Why did not you want to be separated and be returned to your I think that was take over your parents on the Eastern Shore of North crying and praying to God to be returned to their arms 400 years ago. Or you like to see them rise up in the judgment condemned for being such fools. And now, what to live in the land that absolutely enslaved them and killed them and beat them for 300 long years here. They were condemned as fools. When I wanted to be separated, they go to your arm, to the nation, for your son. So I said, you remember that.
Assalamu alaikum, sisters and brothers. Someone Rahim here. That should have covered it. Okay, brothers, this has been a year now. And found him home after 40 years in Arabia. I'm reporting to you from Arabia. Found him home after 40 years. So it's been a year now. There was an agreement made for slave master. Said, their choice. Stay here or leave. Right? So we chose our inheritance, Arabia. So we left. Half the original people decided they wanted to give up their inheritance and traded for a place in America. Affiliation with their former slave master. It's their choice. They chose, we don't want to go over to Arabia. We don't go over there sand and all that stuff. We want to stay here in America. We've been here all our lives, been here 40 years, born here, right? And we can make peace with a slave master. Okay, so they decided to stay. And so after a year, right, we get reports of how things are going over there. And that sounds too good. How things are going over in America with their reparations. Because they was given 6 states, I believe. Yeah, see? Yeah. They got those 6 states right there. That's what Farrakhan told them. They was following this in Farrakhan. Farrakhan promised them, they stay there, 6 states, right? Their own land. And they can make reconciliation with from slave master. They're not devils, not devils. They're human beings. They just had a rough, they were just, there's some things wrong, but now they're gonna make amends and make reparations. So 6 states, and in addition to that, they gave everybody $1 million. Everybody paid $1 million. Thank you, Farrakhan. They're so happy. Thank you, Farrakhan. Thank you, Farrakhan. And you got 6 states. If you promised us, we got 6 states. Thank you. Thank you, Farrakhan. I mean, this was a year ago. 6 states. Thank you, Farrakhan. Right? Everybody got $1 million. Everybody $1 million. They're rejoicing. Oh man, they're so happy. We made it. We got America, man. We got reconciliation for a master. You got 6 states. Everybody got $1 million. We're all rich. That was a year ago. We left. So we're in Arabia. They're still back there in America. And now we're getting reports a year later. This was the way it was a year ago, man. They were so happy. They were so happy. And now we get reports, so what's going on right now? Let's see. Oops, he says a power failure. Great power failure in those 6 states. Power failure. And just those 6 states. So, and now they were big and massive. They came asking to turn the power. Why can't they do it? Oh, Farrakhan didn't train anybody. He was telling about 6 states and we prepared you for him. So nobody knows how to do it. How to turn the power grid back on. So these big men, master, can you come out and turn this thing back on for us? I mean, you would think that if he told them 6 days of promising that he would have prepared them for, right, in schools and education, whatever they needed. But I guess they didn't, because they said, oh, we're not even begging the former master to come and turn the power back on. Then what? This is all that's happening now. I mean, I'm getting these reports in now. A year later. It's like, they're coming in every hour. Power grid failure, right? It's a roof, crop failure. All of a sudden, there's no, they looked at the farmers, when they're doing the farmers said, oh, so then, massive, what's happening here? How come no? Crap. It turned out that the rain they gave wasn't that fertile. Even later, nothing's growing. Crop failure. And now, so what's going to happen here? Right? Then, I mean, all these things, every hour that's coming in, right? And then they look here and they had, a year ago, they had plenty of food on the shelves, right? Now, they look there now and all the food's gone. They're gone. And she said, what am I going to do here? Food's gone. The house is empty. So I said, Master, we need some food. Well, how come you can't produce your own food? I mean, you want your own country, you got your own states, that's your country, then you run it. What are you calling us for? So they're praying. And then, oops, no fuel. But there's no fuel there. Well, you got to buy your fuel. You got to produce your own fuel. What you calling us for? You got your own 6 states now. What you calling us for? Go and get some fuel. You got money. Right? You got your own states. So you got to get your own. What you calling us for? You said you wanted your own, so now you got it. You got your reparations, so we don't owe you anything anymore. Anything anymore, so what you calling us for? We don't owe you anything. You said you agreed to 6 states and $1 million per person. You took that instead of the inheritance, what you call Abrahamic covenant, Arabian. Your brothers and sisters, they left, they took that was all for them, they took it. And you said, no, I want this instead. So now you got it. So what you calling us for? Oh, no communications. Oh, man. No communications, right? No medical facilities. So what's going on? And I said, wait a minute, hold on here. What you calling us for? That's yours. You got to handle that stuff. You want us to handle it for you? You want independence, now you have it. I mean, wow, this stuff's coming every hour, man. Instead of like a year, they were celebrating. And now they're crying, begging the master of grace. We've got all these problems here. So wait a minute, that's your way comes about your problems. You have to work those out. No transportation, I mean, no planes on nowhere. About fly planes and drive trucks and boats and stuff, and you go and get this stuff. What you got us for? You wanted this, you got it. So go ahead and get to train your own pilots, build your own planes, build your own boats, and right? You see what I'm saying? Transportation, build your own trucks. What you got us for? The master, you said you wanted 6 states, you got it. You want $1 million per person. That was the reparations. So now if you didn't pay people to take care of this, how's that our problem? You're independent now. You're really free now. Oops, no fuel, the gas station's empty. I can't drive, right? No gas. Yes, wow. All this stuff happened like for a year. They thought everything was great, and all of a sudden everything ran out. So guess what happened? Everything was good when they got it, and then it ran out. They had to replace it, the fuel, the farm's gone. So they was left with that stuff. The factory was full, house was full, And you have to keep, they thought that was just going, I guess they thought it was just going to be there, just by itself. They didn't prepare for it. See? And they ain't trained any engineers and scientists and architects and stuff. They didn't train anybody. So Farrakhan, he told you he don't get this for you, but he don't pay you for it. He didn't get anybody to handle this stuff. So what was that all about? So when I said, Master, I said, you don't call on me. You was here, you had it when you was here with me. You said you want independence, you want to have reparations, so you gave it to you. Well, calling your brothers over there, they left, they handled their own business. You said you want to stay here. Right? Don't have any professionals or technicians, scientists, doctors, none of that. See? I mean, that's what, because I mean, if you're going to set reparation, you should be paying for that, right? So if he was telling you about reparation, you should be paying for it. If he said, God said that's where he's going to get you, so God told him he's going to get that for you, then he should, like when God told Noah there was a flood coming, told him to build an ark, he started building an ark. And so you should start preparing for the 6 states, and the reparations, apparently you didn't. So now, it tells you, look, hold it. We want total separation. I mean, look, we don't want you to call us no more. We don't want you to call us no more. Because you're wearing us. You run your own country. You got your own land. Right? You got money, $1 million, all this stuff, right? So now we got to protect your money and everything too. No, you have to create your own money. You have to do all these things, your own wealth, not ours. Right? So we're going to cut you off from that too. That's all economics. So they're going to tell it. They tell all the people, all the white folks, right? All the black folks. Now all the black folks is either in Arabia or in those 6 states. That's the solution. It'd be one way or the other. There couldn't be no integration, that kind of stuff. That's the deal. You said one or the other. So all the black folks are there, no integration, that kind of stuff. Right? Was it one or the other? So they're there. So they said, okay, right? So they just said, we're going to take our money because we don't know what y'all doing over here. You have your own money, you have for your own wealth. So they do is they tell all the white folks, say, protect your money. Right? Transfer your money into gold. All your dollars into gold. Now remember, they gave everybody $1 million apiece. So everybody got $1 million apiece, right? Say transfer it to gold. And then what happens is what they do is they start just printing money. Which is printing money. You understand what that means? It's inflation. Because if you got $1 million of gold, a million ounces of gold, say a million ounces of gold, understand this, and you got 1 million certificates, then you say each certificate is worth 1 ounce. If you got 1 million ounce, each certificate is worth 1 ounce. Understand that? You got 1 million ounces of gold, and you got 1 million certificates, each one of those certificates is worth 1 million. If you want to say trade with the certificates, each one of the certificates is worth 1 ounce of gold. But if you take and print, say you got 1 million ounces of gold, and you got 1 million certificates. Each one, but say you print twice as many certificates, you got 2 million. Well, then each certificate is only worth 50 cents now. But you got to connect that to the gold. You print 4 times, then each one is worth a quarter. So the more you print, the less they worth, because those certificates have to equal what the gold is. See, so the more you print money, the less, right? The less they're worth. So if you print twice as much money, right, then less gold. You understand? So a dollar is worth an ounce of gold. That's right. Then if you print double that amount of dollars, then each one's worth half an ounce. You understand? That's printing money without increasing your wealth does. That's inflation. So what happens is, they keep printing. They get down to where $100 is worth a penny. See, that doesn't affect their people. They try to protect their money because they transfer their money to gold. So gold still has its value. It's just the dollars don't. Still got the same amount of gold. But the dollars, they get down to a penny. So you can't buy it. You had $1 million, now $1 million worth of $5. That's all it's worth. Pay $1. Hardly worth anything. Otherwise, hey, that's our money. You gotta have your money, you gotta control your wealth. You can't keep coming at us what you're doing. And you think they would do that? You've been a Gaza lately? You see what happened to the trees they made the so-called natives kept telling you to fault town because they kept making trees and then they broke the trees. They took their land and genocide everything else. But no, they wouldn't do that to you. See? Because now you have, your money's worth nothing. They haven't lost anything. Because once that money's worthless, it's no good, right? Then you burn it up, throw it away, it's worth nothing. People still got gold, and even if they take it, hold on, the money hope to increase again, they use another certificate, use another form of money. So it's still worth nothing. The $1 million you had, you was so happy with now, it's probably worth $1 million. So you can't buy anything $1. Plus the economy's collapse because everything is failing, and you don't know how to repair it. You don't have the communications. You don't have to do any of this stuff. You're an engineer, but how should I know anything? Because it's our company. Right? He didn't know how to prepare you. He told you to get 6 days. He told you, this me. Right? So now, you're broke. The economy's gone. You have no food, no electricity, no power, anything. It's not their fault. They gave you what you asked for. That you saw your inheritance for that. And then they closed the border. Because you're going to try to get back into America now. We're going to come back in, Master. No, we don't want you back in here. We sorry, we want to come in. No. As you chose, you stay there. Close the border so you can't get back in here. You get back in there into what you call your land now. Swaziland or something? Farrakhan. Maybe call it Farrakhan. Farrakhan. You make the Farrakhan. Right? So they close the borders, you can't. Because now you're hungry and everything else, your money's worthless. Oh, God, I come back, man. I come back work for you, I work for Popeye, I do anything you want. No, blacks, either they was in Arabia or they in that land. There are no blacks in America, any place, just in that land, and those that you 6 days. And then you're starving, you ain't got no, your money's worthless, nothing works, and they close the border. And you see Master Henry on the phone, he told the guy, you get paid to help you. He finally got rid of niggas. Finally got rid of them. So he seen on the phone, yeah, it worked. We saw him in Revelation, we saw him that said used car, he turned the miles back and everything else, and they bought it. They could have had a BMW, they could have had a Lamborghini, they sold it for BMW. Good, damn thing didn't work. Now, it's starving. Living in tents. Praying. So what? Anyway. What we gonna do, Farrakhan? What we gonna do, Farrakhan? You told us to take reparations, so we did, but they gave us everything we asked for. What we gonna do, Farrakhan? What we gonna do? Pray, 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 pray. That's his answer. Pray, pray, pray. That's your reparations. Like Elijah Muhammad said, the big picture. Leave him, the blacks stay on the shore, the ones stay behind, and they was whooping their ass. Because they all thought you think they would give you some land to take care of you? And they won't do that. They go bankrupt, give everybody $1 million, you know what it was? 17 million, that was 17 million times, 17 million times a million is like $17 trillion, I think, something like that. What are they going to do that for you? They want to get rid of you. So now they have to see it. Because they close the border, and what you going to do? When you want to fight to come out? They close the border. They got the military around there. They finally got rid of you. No more black problem, no more Negro problem anymore. One goes out of here, and those that's here. They're gone, and our hands are clean. We gave what they wanted. On anything. Honest contracts. Remember he had a contract with Jacob. He sold his birthright for a bowl of soup to Jacob. It was Esau's inheritance. He got out of it. Okay, Jacob, it's yours. You're the one. And that's the deal. Because he ain't your friend. Pharaoh ain't your friend. Pray, pray, pray. That's the answer. This homeland you was promised, you never rejected it. So then you got what you asked for. So they gave you reparations today or tomorrow. How would that scenario not play out like that? Well, it's okay, you got it. Tell me how the scenario wouldn't play out like that. And tell me why they wouldn't do it. They love you so much, they can say, okay, we're going to take care of him. And I said, why did they take care of you when he was right here? He's working at Popeyes and then they get up on Section 8 other stuff right here with David. Because you know they're trying to get rid of stuff right now. Trump's trying to give all that stuff right now. Because they're closing on you don't realize it. Anyway, that's just, that's what's happening in America. Wow. Of course, coming there. It's a disaster over there. I just got a call. Really? You serious? Our ambassador just got a call from I don't know what they call it Thailand or something. I forgot what it's something called right there. That's it. They begged us to come and help. Can they come over here? Can we come and get them? Really? Can we come and get them? Bring them? Oh no! And he went and asked there's Master Fard Muhammad right there. He said, no, hell no. We ain't going to get them. I agree with that. Yeah, the pastor said he's called him and he passed away to Master Muhammad. Master Muhammad said, send him back. Listen, no, we can't come and get you. You chose, you made your choice. Live with it. Or die, whatever the situation is. Wow. I can't believe it. They actually sent a message over. Well, they didn't have any communication, but somehow they got the information over to him. Said, would we please come and get him? Nope. Don't tell them no. And don't waste time communicating with us anymore. You got your land, you got your reputation, you got your money, you got Farrakhan here. Yeah, tell them, talk to them, let them straighten out for you. You want to sell you the idea, you have to sell them. So you want to get reparations, we told you. Soon on back, he was a message to you, telling you, look man, let's go home. You said no, you chose not to. Okay, well, since that's a sad story. I guess that's it, is that it? Oh, they might get more reports. Okay, he says that was a Nancy Muhammad's final decision, and I think they closed communication off from there. So that's it, brothers and sisters. We got those ballots that came in. All that came in today. I mean, I came in fast. After a whole year. Total collapse. They're begging it. Somebody help me. We can't do it. They're master help you. We won't do it. Assalamu alaikum. Update, brothers and sisters, got another late report in. They said, well, if you won't come and get us food, we at least send some food. They begged him, please send some food. That's what I'm saying. I'm going to send them a damn thing. Nothing. Zero. He said, please just send some food. Just got that in. He says, if you can't come and get it, please send some food. He says, no. He refused. That's the report. I just got the information from the ambassador. He said that he's ready to meet. He says, no. He said, please send us some food. He said, no. Go no way. You made your choice. Case closed. Just got that in, bro. It's just, that's not like him.